Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll just give it one more minute to allow some participants to load, and we'll tell you as soon as we're ready. Thank you so much for joining. Hope everybody's having a great morning. And thank you again for joining us. Kairos Power is creating so many jobs in New Mexico, and we are excited to hear Alicia. She's a recruiter. She's going to go ahead and let us know, show us a presentation and some video, and then we can ask questions. Feel free to type them in the Q&A, and we will go over them at the end of before we end the meeting, but at the end of her presentation. So thanks so much. Here we go.
Awesome. Thank you everybody for joining. My name is Alicia. I am a recruiter here at Kairos Power. I've been with the company now for about 3 years. February was my anniversary. And so I'm excited to share with you guys some information about our New Mexico location. This is a new location for us. We actually did open up officially last year, right before the pandemic, and we were going to be having a huge open house. But unfortunately, because of COVID, we had to put some things on hold. So now we are really hitting the ground running. And I'm excited to share the next couple of slides with you. Feel free to ask questions along the way. I'm happy to answer them, but we will have the Q&A at the end. So I'll be sure to address your questions then. Righty. With every meeting, we start out with our mission statement. Kairos's mission is to enable the world's transition to clean energy with the ultimate goal of dramatically improving people's quality of life while protecting the environment. There's a couple ways we're going to do this. In order to achieve the mission, we must prioritize our efforts to focus in on the clean energy that is both affordable and safe. With nuclear, we're oftentimes criticized for not being safe and for being high cost, but our goal is to take away these concerns completely. And over the next couple of slides, I'll kind of dive in a little bit more on how we're going to do that. So again, today we're going to cover an overview of the company. We'll talk about our New Mexico campus as well as some of our other locations, and then job openings, and I'll cover some of our benefits information as well. Here's a little bit of an overview on our company. We were founded back in December of 2016 by 3 individuals: our Chief Executive Officer, Mike Loffer, our Chief Nuclear Officer, Per Peterson, and our Chief Technology Officer, Ed Blanford. The 3 folks were really heavily involved in research going into nuclear reactors, mostly on the academic front. And they finally got to the point to where they wanted to really make a difference. And the only way they knew how to do that was to commercialize the company. And that's how Kairos came to light. Right now, we have about 170 employees. Most of our staff is actually more of an engineering focus. Really focusing in right now, though, you'll see on our website, if you take a look at our careers page, that we do have a couple of operation roles as well. And I'll kind of talk a little bit more about what we have available. We are privately funded, and so that allows us the ability to be a little bit more creative when it comes to the work that we're putting into our reactor. Obviously, we are heavily regulated by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, but because of the private funding, we are not as regulated by the government and working in direct partnerships with the DOE like you'll see from the national labs in your area. Our schedule is pretty lengthy. We are working to hit the market with a working prototype by 2030 or earlier for an aggressive timeline, and rapid deployment ramp after 2030 once we hit that initial demonstration plant. Our costs are going to be targeted to compete with natural gas, just because, again, we want to be affordable and we want to be an option for clean energy in the future. Right now, we have a couple of different locations. Our headquarters and where we were kind of came to light was out here in Alameda, California. Our location that we're going to talk about most today is our engineering test unit or T facility, which is in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We're going to be hitting hard in Tennessee as well in 2023. That will actually be a nuclear specific plant for us. We have our licensing group in Charlotte, North Carolina, and then a strategic partnership with Materion. With Materion, our partnership will provide us with reliable and cost-effective supply of salt coolant. So we are using molten salts as our coolant for the reactor. It is a key component of the fluoride salt high temperature reactor because that is actually how we are going to be much safer than the reactors that are on the market today. I'll cover it a little bit in the next slide, but we have our rapid lab, which is rapid analysis, prototyping, and iterative design. And then we have our S lab, which is salt lab, and T facility, which is testing. So again, here's our different kind of our highlights of our recent progress. The engineering test unit, which is going to be based out of Albuquerque, is going to be demonstrating the following. So cost, right? That's a big one for us. It's going to establish a competitive cost through vertical integration. Supply chain, we're going to initiate and exercise supply chain for the KPFHR, specializing in components and materials. And then we're going to also be designing and testing. So again, this is going to be a non-nuclear specific site for us. It's going to be a way for us to really understand the way that the components of the reactor are going to work. So again, we can really focus on that safety piece. And then operations. So it's going to accelerate the experience base of large scale FLIBE facility and initial plant operations. Go ahead and go to the next slide. We recently received a very large DOE award. So a question that I get a lot is the funding situation for Kairos Power. We received the Advanced Reactor Demonstration Program Award through, and it's going to focus on risk reduction for our Hermes reactor. Hermes is going to be a low power demonstration reactor for us. We're going to rely heavily on the partnership with Materion. And Materion is, again, a strategic partner with Kairos that's going to help solidify our beryllium fluoride supply. And additional partnerships are going to be with Oak Ridge National Lab. They're based out of Tennessee. They're a major part of the award project to help us deliver Hermes. So Kairos has a partnership with Oak Ridge National Lab that is going to focus on the following areas: materials development and qualification, advanced manufacturing, reactor operations, remote handling, and fuel technology development, including spent fuel management. Kairos currently has a strong relationship with Oak Ridge National Lab, which is very big for us and our overall success in building out in Tennessee. We're going to really rely on that partnership through several avenues, including production of an additive manufacturing pump impeller. For our ETU, I know that's very, very technical, as well as some other projects focusing on TRISO fuel, which is going to be the fuel that is going into the development for testing purposes. INL is another partnership that we rely heavily on. Again, very focused in on Hermes for that partnership as well. And then the Electric Power Research Institute is another partnership that we are going to be working with to deliver Hermes. They're going to be supporting around the chemistry control and our reliability and integrity management. As you can see here, the overall award over the next 7 years is $629 million. DOE share of that is $303 million. And then we also have the private investors that we've been working with since our inception in 2016 that are going to be continued partners with us over the next few years as well. We'll talk a little bit about our deployment of the Hermes reactor because I've talked a lot about it already. That's going to be in Tennessee, but I don't want to spend too much time on this one just because, again, I really want our focus to be on the New Mexico aspect and how we're really going to be building jobs out in your area. So again, Kairos relies heavily on partnerships. We are going to continue to partner with both Sandia National Lab and Los Alamos National Lab that are both out of New Mexico. We are currently working jointly with both national labs in a number of technical areas. For Sandia, we are currently collaborating through an existing award with them around advanced molten salt valve development. There is a press release that you can see here that kind of covers a little bit. You are more than welcome to Google that information and read the entire press release if you're interested. We are also establishing a CRADA to enable a strategic partnership with Sandia to develop novel technology to measure burnup and fuel circulating through the Hermes reactor. We are very closely working with Los Alamos as well through a DOE funding project to develop advanced modeling and simulation tools, as well as transferring technology around sodium heat pipes. Kairos has strong connections with both New Mexico labs, Oak Ridge National Lab, INL, and the Electrical Power Institute since the inception of the company. So we've been able to build these relationships over the last couple of years. Now, as I mentioned, really focusing in on the Southwest campus. So the next couple of slides, we're going to talk a little bit more about what's going on in New Mexico. Here are some pictures of the campus so far. I know not very glamorous, but again, we are still very much in construction and finalizing the space out there. It was an existing building that we took over in the Mesa del Sol area. So there was already a 132 square foot building. There is a warehouse as well as an office area that we were able to take over. And then we are also building out an annex area, which will be our tea facility. And that's going to be a 40,000 square foot building. This next slide talks a little bit about the testing program. So we are going to be doing rapid iterations of the technology. So we're going to focus again on the non-nuclear aspect. So we have the R lab, which is out here in California. That's rapid analysis, prototyping, and iterative design lab. We have the salt lab, that is salt handling and loop testing. The testing facility, which is ETU, that's the component testing facility. So this is very much more of a manufacturing type of location for us. And then a user facility, so user operations and maintenance training facility, so that people can get real hands-on training of how to operate the reactor. We believe that hardware is worth 1,000 calculations, and ETU will be a proof case for this philosophy since it's integrating all of the major systems of Hermes just in a non-nuclear capacity. So here is some additional pictures of our Southwest campus. We are going to be bringing more than 65 high-paying jobs to Albuquerque, focusing in on engineering, technologists, machinists, and operation staff. The average salary is going to be $100K. Here's a little bit about our timeline for our Southwest location. So in Q3 and Q4 of 2020, we were really focusing in on our tea facility hiring and training. We do have a lot of staff out there already. We are continuing obviously into 2021 with that hiring goal as well. So you'll see a lot of positions that are currently posted on our website, and then we'll continue to post into Q3 and to Q4. But for Q2 and Q4 of this year, our tea facility construction will be completed and ETU will be operational. By mid-2028, U facility, so that's our user facility, will be in operation. And then in early 2030s, that's our goal to commercialize our plant and have a commercial operation and deployment. Now, I'm sure a lot of questions are going to be coming up on COVID. And so we are still in a mandatory work from home until July of this year. I do have a few folks that are already on site though. Those are going to be more of my lab folks, more of my technologists. So those are the people that, in order to be successful to complete their work, are working on site. There are different access requests. So if you're in an operational based position, you can request access to go on site. If you do, there is a self-assessment that needs to be completed before you can enter our building. And that's just a health check that we have our employees do just to make sure that you are healthy and you're coming in with no fever or no symptoms. We do have a safety check-in process as well. So once you arrive on site, once you're approved to enter the building, there will be a temperature check as well. We have targeted work zones for folks and travel paths. So that's going to be our attempts to continue to maintain the social distancing. And then we also require masks to be worn while you're working in the facility. Obviously, if you're eating, you're able to, or drinking, you're able to take the mask off, but we do ask that a mask is on at all time. And then we do have a cleaning and disinfecting staff that comes in to make sure that the building is a clean and safe space. And then we have a detailed COVID-19 action plan as well, if you had more questions on what we're doing to make sure that our employees are safe. We actually recently launched a partnership with the Muse. I'm not sure if you folks are familiar with that program, but it's another way to kind of meet the staff. And so we have a video from Ravi, who is one of our senior managers in engineering. Mallory is actually based out of, I believe she's based out of New Mexico as well. She's working in our salt chemistry group as an engineer too. And then Nico is one of our senior managers for engineering tests out in Alameda in our headquarters. We partnered with the Muse. It's an online career platform. It's to help provide insight into the benefits and working at Kairos and our unique culture, just because coming into this space, especially pulling from other industries, a lot of folks aren't familiar with our company. So we feel it's a great way for people to check out the employee section and our profile to learn why they would enjoy being part of our team. So here are a couple things that you'll find with working at Kairos Power. These are pictures of our current employees, most of which are working hands-on in our labs. So in Alameda, we have a high bay lab and machine shop, and then 2 covered labs. These pictures are actually pulled from headquarters, but we do have competitive salary, as I mentioned in our slide before. I'll go a little bit more into our benefits in the next slide. So we offer medical, dental, and vision to our employees. We actually cover 100% of the premiums for medical and dental and vision for our employees. And then we cover 100% of the premiums for dependents for medical, and then 85% of the premiums for dental and vision for dependents. So it's pretty cost effective. You know, for a family of 4, you're probably looking at about $13 to $15 that are taken out of your paycheck. In addition, we have short-term disability, life insurance, long-term disability. We supply safety shoes and proper PPE. So for the safety shoes, we actually supply you a stipend so that you're able to go out and purchase those shoes. We do 3 weeks of PTO. We have 5 paid sick days. And then we also have 10 COVID sick days. So that's in addition to the 5 paid sick days that are offered above. We have 10 paid holidays with 1 floating holiday to use at your leisure. That is in recognition of Columbus Day. So that's the 1 floater. We also do an end of the year shutdown. So Kairos actually closes from December 25th until January 1st. And then we reopen on the 2nd or whatever the next work day would be. That's not all that we offer. That's kind of just a high level overview. And then you'll also see some of the typical openings that we have. So machinists, fabricators, we have a shop helper, technologists. It is listed that we have a desktop support position, but that one actually was recently closed. And then we have a material handling position, some mechanical engineers, and electrical engineers. Like I said, you know, we're hiring a lot right now. If you do have an interest in joining our company, please check out our careers page. If you don't see something that's posted right now, feel free to ask questions on if it's something that we'll be hiring for in the future. Like I said, a lot of what you'll see is going to be focused on the engineering front. So it's definitely difficult to find a position if you're not focused on the engineering front, but we will be building out operations as well. So if you're looking for an administrative assistant or a coordinator position, let us know. We're definitely going to be growing very quickly out there. Here's a little video I wanted to share of just some recent progress that we've seen out in Albuquerque. Awesome. And then we'll go ahead and go into questions.
Thank you for sharing that video and all the information, Alicia.
Of course.
I do. The first question I have, do you provide internships for engineering students from New Mexico Tech and UNM?
Yes, we do. We actually just filled a lot of our internships for this year. We start the internship search process pretty early on in like probably around February, just so that we can get a lot of folks solidified. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be something that we'd be looking at for next year, just because we've already, like I said, filled a lot of those positions for this year.
Awesome. And so there's another question regarding the recruiting coordinator or any position
Sure.
that you have on your website. Can you share how often you post those positions and how current they are?
Yeah, so right now what you'll see on our careers page is focused in on our Q2 priorities. So the second quarter is going to be coming to an end here in the next couple of weeks. What you'll see online right now are open positions. We are specifically addressing the coordinator position. We are actively interviewing for that role. We had an interview last week and we have another one today. So that may be coming to a close here pretty quick, but we do leave it open up until the point of what we have a candidate accept the offer.
Thank you, Alicia. And regarding that question, let's say that I have two-year degree. So and I also have like 2 years of experience. How do you look at the positions and the equivalency of like the bachelor degree and then the experience?
Sure. So we look at both. If you have an associate's degree and a couple of years of experience, that's absolutely something that we would consider. It's not something where you are required to have a bachelor's degree by any means. I know a lot of the positions will show a target of a specific degree level, but if you don't meet that degree level, we will take the additional years of experience into consideration.
Thank you. Would you be willing to share a copy of your slide presentation? We have somebody, one of our career consultants would like to know.
Yeah, let me double check, just because typically I'm not able to share direct links to our presentations, because there is a lot of information that is proprietary to our organization, but I can absolutely ask and get that approval.
Thank you. And does Kairos like to hire from their interns as a relationship if already established, or prefer more experience?
No, absolutely. We use the internship program as a way to identify talent for positions that we are actively searching for. It's a great way to get your foot in the door at the company. If you are interested in joining full-time following the internship, I would encourage those folks to talk to their manager and set goals throughout the program to make sure that they are on track to meeting what the manager is looking for, and really getting a sense of, if it's the right career path for them.
That's a great opportunity. And the next question is regarding the application process. They applied for a test engineer intern position, and what is the best way to get in contact with Kairos or to check the status of when you applied for any of these positions?
Sure. So for the test engineer, I am actually, for the internship, I'm not the lead recruiter. We have a couple different recruiters on staff. I will have to check the status of that position. I believe they have identified some candidates for that role. And so if you have questions on where your application stands, please feel free to reach out to me via email and I can check the status for you.
Awesome. And do you want to go ahead and type your email address on the chat to all attendees and panelists, or I can do that?
Yeah. If you want to go ahead and share my email, you're more than welcome to.
Okay. And there's another really good question. If somebody is extremely qualified, would they be considered if they have a non-violent, like a felony or something on their record?
It's on a case-by-case basis. So for every individual that we hire onto our staff, we do run a background check. If there are charges on there, we look at the situation, and there may be certain cases where we will ask for some additional information. It's hard to answer that question directly without knowing the entire, I guess, story behind it or what the exact charge would be. But that is something that would be handled by our HR group, and then ultimately would be required approval from the CEO.
And it'll be case by case. So
case by case, correct.
all right, awesome. And there's a question about the thermal efficiency. I'm just going to read it out to you.
Sure, I will do my best to answer. I'm by no means one of the engineers.
So looking at the net efficiency given for the plant example found on your website, it surprised me to see that it is reported that 45% of thermal efficiency, which is quite a bit higher than average plants. Is this number proven or is it theoretical?
So right now it is what we have done as far as the theoretical work. Our hope is to, because we're going through these rapid iterations, our hope is to prove that through the rapid iteration cycles that we are going through. But that is what we have presented to the NRC.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And just to remind everybody how to keep track of the progress of their applications, or if they're qualified for the job, do you send an email if they did not?
Sure. So if a candidate is qualified for the position, we will reach out via email. Oftentimes there will be some delays in the application review process just because we do have multiple positions open right now. And so it is hard for us to go through every single application. If you do have specific questions on the status of your application, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. I'm more than happy to check the status for you, just because I'm not the lead recruiter on every single position. So I don't know, the status of every single one, but I can absolutely look into our system and see where the recruiter is at in the hiring process.
Awesome, thank you. And I'm just about to type in the chat your email, but if anyone has any questions, please feel free to send them to New Mexico Workforce Connection, our website, or give us a call. Let me see if I went through. Here we go. And awesome presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
So one more question and then.
Sure.
So generally, how much experience is preferred for a mechanical engineer under your company? And is there a job training for new hires?
Sure. So that's going to be something that depends on the rec that is open at any given time. I believe right now we are hiring both for a mechanical engineer that could potentially be a recent grad, or we are hiring for a senior level mechanical engineer as well. Again, with those positions, we will take a look at both your academic portfolio as well as the years of experience that you do bring to the table post academia. If it is for the more entry level position, bachelor's degree, master's degree, postdoc, we're open to all levels. And so it's more so the hands-on experience that you're going to bring. So if you were in an engineering program that you had firsthand experience with designing parts or building something, that is the biggest thing for us. If you have prior experience building a system, or we've had a lot of success with the Formula race car, that's another place that we have really pulled from, just because again, we're building a reactor. So if you have that hands-on component, that's a big one for us.
Awesome. We're so excited, Kairos. We'll keep recruiting and we'll keep partnering with you. Thank you for joining us. And if there's any additional questions, please send them to Alicia or send them to us. And thank you for joining. And we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Bye-bye, Alicia.
Bye.